bottom of the engine, we have the water pump connected to the engine. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. In front of the water pump, we have the pulley securely fastened. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. On the pulley, we have the belt securely seated into the pulley. The belt is not torn, not cracked, not frayed, no wires exposed. When I pull onto the center, I should not have more than a ½ inch to create 3/4 inches of play. And it is, the water pump is belt driven. Okay. Now, my starter? No, it's not my starter.
Alternator.
My alternator. My alternator connected to the side of the engine. All nuts and bolts are present. It is belt driven. It's not bent, dented, twisted, or cracked. In front of the alternator is my pulley. My pulley is connected to the alternator. All nuts and bolts are present. Not bent, dent, twisted, or cracked. On the pulley, I have my belt. Belt is properly seated into the pulley. It's not cracked, not frayed, no rips, no tears, no metal showing. When I squeeze in the center, I shouldn't have more than a ½ inch to 3/4 inches of play. Next, I have my coolant, not my coolant, but my windshield wiper reservoir securely fastened to the firewall. All nuts and bolts are present. It's made out of plastic. It's not bent, dent, twisted, or cracked. The cap is securely fastened, and there are no leaks. Next, I have my intake going into my turbo, going to my exhaust. All nuts and bolts are present, securely fastened, not bent, dent, twisted, or cracked. As I follow my exhaust, all nuts and bolts are present. It's all securely fastened, and I'm also checking for black silk. That is a sign of a carbon leak. Next, I have my oil filter securely fastened to the engine. It's not bent, dent, twisted, or cracked, and it has no leaks. Next, I have my radiator bracket mounted to the frame, securely fastened. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. Next, I have my horn, my electric horn, mounted to the frame. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. Next, I have my shock absorber. How far should it? My shock absorber, my leaf spring, my U-bolts. I have my brake hoses, my brake chamber, my S-cam brake. Would you like me to go over that again? I would examine it the same way as I did on the other side. Would you like me to go over it again?
No.
Okay. And then next, I would check my brakes, my brake lining, my brake drum, my steel rim, my tires, the wheel hub. I would all inspect it the same way as I did on the other side. Would you like me to go over it again?
No.
And that will conclude my inspection on the passenger side. Check the back of the truck. First, I'm going to check the door, make sure it opens and closes, working properly. Next, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to check the hinges. I'm going to make sure all nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twisted, or cracked. Then I'm going to check the
rubber seal.
The rubber seal, securely fastened. No rips, no tears, no chunks missing. Make sure there's no leaks. Next, I'm going to check the grab bar. All nuts and bolts are present, securely fastened to the cab. Not bent, dent, twist, or crack. Next, I'm going to check under here the signal indicator. Make sure all nuts and bolts are present. No bare wires exposed. Next, I'm going to check the gas tank. Securely fastened with the rubber brackets. Keeps it from shifting, from moving, and is connected to the L bracket. The L bracket connected to the frame. Okay. Gas cap is present, securely fastened. There are no leaks. The steps securely fastened to the L bracket, and the straps slightly rusted but still serviceable. All nuts and bolts are present. Okay. In the back, I have my air tank connected to the frame. All nuts and bolts are present. It's securely fastened to the frame. Make sure it's not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. There are no leaks. And this is my air release. Make sure it's securely fastened. Securely fastened. There are no leaks. Next, I have my 2 batteries. It's two maintenance-free batteries. Securely mounted with the cables. All the black cables are negative, all the red is positive. I'm gonna make sure it's free of debris, and isn't free of corrosion. Okay, next I have my battery box being held in place by my L brackets. My L brackets connected to the frame. All nuts and bolts are present, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. Next I have my frame. My frame is not bent, dent, twist, or cracked. No rust. Next I'm going to go under the truck. I'm going to firmly grab the shaft, shake it, make sure it's firmly secured. The front of the shaft is connected to the front transmission. The rear axle is connected. The rear shaft is connected to the axle. I have a universal joint and my bearing. I'm going to make sure all nuts and bolts are present, is securely fastened, not bent, dent, twist, or cracked, and is greased properly. Okay. Next, I have my spring mounts, front and rear. I have my hanger, and I have my leaf spring.